Hey everybody, a person on the live stream here has the name, let me see, where is this? I'll just, yeah, Rapal Burn Depot 2660. Why are you blaming the city of Oakland when the ownership of the Raiders and athletics clearly never acted in good faith in making an effort to keep these teams in Oakland? I think the current mayor of Oakland has done beyond a satisfactory job in working to block the move. Now, and then this person writes, Oakland is one of the great historic sports cities in the world. Notice how TV ratings have pummeled in the NFL and NBA since these teams moved. Now, let me get to the first one. First of all, you're completely wrong. The reason is that the reasons for the move of the Raiders from Oakland are different than the A's. The Raiders, from the start, intended to set up the city of Oakland, and they used the reasons that were brought on as a raison d'etre for leaving for Las Vegas. But then let's not forget, it was not like the Las Vegas region was standing there. This really started with Sheldon Adelson wanting the Raiders to move from Oakland to Las Vegas, his city. All right? That's how we got here. And so Mr. Adelson was willing to pony up part of his money and then engineer a way to get $750 million of subsidy to the Raiders, which led to the eventual construction and opening of what we now call Allegiant Stadium. That's far different from the athletics situation. The athletics started off with the intent of building a ballpark, first at the Coliseum, but then took a look at the sea level rise problem and began to see Howard Terminal in a more positive way. The problem with the situation with the Raiders and the city of Oakland was that the city of Oakland didn't take seriously the NFL's effort. It worked slowly. It didn't find a true developer. It allowed a developer to be picked for it, essentially the Lott Group. And I'm sorry, Ronnie Lott, but look, we were not in a position where we had a top-notch developer team formed to readily build a stadium with people who had done it before. It doesn't matter how great the Lott Group was on the football field, there was not a pedigree in existence when it came to building a stadium anywhere. And so there were aspects of financing that could have been done a lot better. Mayor Schaaf didn't make it any better by not having a true point person on her side to really round out the team. But having said all that, the city did a great job of keeping itself in the hunt, and us in the hunt, for as long as it did regarding the Raiders and Mark Davis. The big difference wasn't so much that there was a $750 million out there. That wasn't really the issue. The issue was that this, as Eric Grubman put it, it looked like the city hadn't really planned to build a stadium for the Raiders and was quite literally rushing to catch up with this issue. And that's the problem. We never planned to build a stadium for the Raiders because our government and our elected officials always assumed that both teams would stay where they were. That the historic idea was always, why should we, going back to say 1997, when I said to the city of Oakland, when I represented Oakland Mayor Elihu Harris at the Community Economic Development Agency meetings of Tuesday morning, on September 16th of 97, I said that we need to begin to plan to build a ballpark for the athletics, because we've rendered where they're playing right now as not state of the art and not a good place for them to be for baseball, for a whole host of reasons. Nate Miley, who was then sitting on the city council, now is Alameda County Board of Supervisor member, said we already just spent $200 million to get the Raiders back. I said, yeah, but it's the timing, because Camden Yards just opened in 1993, and it changed how baseball stadium design was done. And so here we are sitting in a facility that arguably is an albatross around our neck. You want to prove me otherwise in terms of what has happened since then with respect to the Coliseum in baseball? Thanks, all right? But the idea operative then was, where are the A's going to go? Not, hey, we need to do something right now. Here's a long-term plan, and here's the budget. Here's how we're going to do it. Oakland has never done that. Oakland has thought of sports as this novelty for politicians to play off of and go to the games, get tickets, act like they're big time for getting these front row seats and everything, or being able to get their friends tickets or anything else. But when it came to actually having a crackerjack task force of people, some in the city, some, outside the city hall walls, no, we never did that sort of thing. We didn't do that since 1992 in Celebrate Oakland for the All-Star game then, when the Haas family owned the A's. All right? So the problem is that we then had a system where the mayor, Libby Schaaf, insisted on making herself the point person and insisted on hiring people as, the secondary point person to be the other face who had no experience working with the league and no knowledge of how NFL stadium financing worked. Claudia Capio, housing specialist. Eric Grubman with the NFL said that she was very nice, but needed to be brought up to speed on a great many things. That was a very Eric Grubman polite way of saying she had no idea what she was doing and she was in over her head. The same problem impacted Howard Terminal. We went from Libby making herself the face of the project, and I told her not to do it. Hire a point person. Hire me. Thao. Oh, Libby didn't hire me for Howard Terminal either, but she had no problem asking questions and then saying, thank you for the free advice. Okay? Which is more valuable than the advice they were getting, and I was blogging about all their failures every step of the way. Particularly in the case of Howard Terminal and the athletics, a project I dearly wanted, if only because I saw the mistakes we were making with the Raiders, and I was chomping at the bit to correct them with respect to the A's. We didn't know how to do tax increment financing, yet you're talking to a guy who has a generation of experience doing it. In my head. So the point that I'm making to you is that experts were tossed aside, not paid attention to, so that politicians could get themselves on what they believe is important, the TV cameras for traditional media, which nobody watches anymore with respect to news. Okay? And that's the God's honest truth. So you're saying the city of Oakland did all it could? Excuse me, are you working for the city of Oakland? Are you Brandon Haramy working for Thao? Shang had no idea what she was doing. She even contacted me when she was running for mayor. We had a private meeting. She didn't want everybody to know that she was meeting with Zennie to get his word on what a tax increment financing is, and enhanced infrastructure districts and how they worked. Enhanced infrastructure financing districts and how they work. Oh, no, okay? Oh. So you tell me that they did a good job? I submit to you, you have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, absolute zero. Okay? Hey, you're better off admitting that you're working for the city and you're trying to help the city save face. Because I can see that. Forget it. No. The council manager form of government was better for long-term projects. That's the bottom line. Our strong mayor system ensures nothing but failure when it comes to completing big projects, public-private partnerships. We still don't have a convention center. We're losing now. It looks like the Oakland Roots are having a problem. I told them not to build at Malibu Golf and Games. I told them it was a flood control problem. They didn't listen to me. Oh, no. Now they have said they have to pony up $50 million. $50 million to straighten out the problem. Yikes. All right? $50 million. So, got a problem here, folks. All right? Big problem. Don't tell me the city did all it could do. The city didn't know what it was doing. And so if you don't know what you're doing, you're not doing all you can do. Subscribe to Zennie62 and bookmark OaklandNewsNowBlog.com. And please, folks, stop bringing this garbage to me about the city doing everything it could have done. The city made a ton of mistakes, and it's about time the city admitted it rather than having people, litter social media with this ridiculous idea. Learn from your mistakes. Admit them first.